right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all infinite praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Hakodash, the honor to the apostles, the elders, the elder bishops, plus the foremost of the earth that puts in teaching the truth and salutations to the hopeful elect. Coming back to you another lesson and exhortation through the spirit of power, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And this video is just, just going to the Sykes-Picot agreement, right? The Sykes-Picot agreement. And Lord's will, this video is edifying to the hopeful elect. And let's just go ahead and drill right into it, man. And on the plow, as you see the title after camp lesson, as I was bringing out in the camp on the plow, so like it, as I was bringing out the plow, I brought up about the Sykes-Picot agreement, how these devils, they made X amount of promises to various different people. Oh, you would get this land, or you would get this part of the land, or you would get this part of the land, right? And I ain't really went into it fully because I just ended up ending a lot right there, and plus I had to go. So yeah, man, hear the video. And Lord's will, y'all may be edified, through the spirit power. Y'all by Shemal Shai. Excuse me real quick. All right, let's just get into it. I'm gonna just read this from the I'm gonna read this for what Google gives me, and then I'm gonna go into a little more in it, and I'm gonna just build off for what I go. All right, so the Sykes-Picot agreement, the Sykes-Picot, as it shows here. I said the Sykes-Picot agreement, but it's Picot or Picot, Sykes-Picot or Picot or Picot, if you want to just call it that. The Sykes-Picot agreement was a secret 1960 it's like a secret 1916 deal between France and Britain to divide the Ottoman Empire after World War One. Because once when they won the war, they were trying to decide on you know who's gonna keep this land, right? And like I said, all this was you know as it says here, to divide the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire was a very strong empire back then. You see, they started growing all around the time when the quote unquote Roman Empire went down, where really they split up between the rest of the Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire. The Eastern Roman Empire was known as the Byzantine Empire, the Byzantine, the Byzantine, however you say it. That was when Jake was ruling, right? That was when Jake was ruling, going to the Moors, if you want to call them. That was Jake. They were just Jake was just worshiping uh Islam back then, right? They was worshiping Islam back then. Though, what I'm saying, you had, the Catholic Church, right? Which I'm still learning about that whole ordeal and that, right? But from then until the time when they made this agreement, you know, the Ottoman Empire, they were strong, right? So let's see, where to go to Wikipedia, and I might just bring up a video too. The Sykes-Picot or Picot Agreement was a 1916 secret treaty between the United Kingdom and France, with assents from. So, like, let me see what that word means. Assent to agree, approve, or get permission. So it had the permission from Russia and Italy, which Around that time, Italy, they wasn't even doing shit. Literally, Italy just been left untouched. They ain't really had, a fight in the war, so to speak. They just been neutral ground, but of course they've been with, France and the Great Britain. Uh, a 1916 secret treaty between the United Kingdom and France with permission. I'm gonna just, use a definition for the word. With permission from Russia and Italy to define their mutuality agreed spheres of influence and control in the eventual partition of the Ottoman Empire. Around that time, the Ottoman Empire was also weak. And I said it was, they've been strong, you know, but that was on their coming up. That was them coming up, around the time when this war was going on. Um, the Ottomans, they really was growing weak, you know, especially Esau tried to send in, how they still doing this still to this day. They're using the same blueprints. They try to get somebody from amongst, that region or amongst that nation to rebel against them, saying to complain about, you know, the struggles and this and that, the third or whatever, just so they can get an upper hand on it, right? And like I said, they still constantly doing that same old thing to this day. Why you think there's so much wars and proxy wars and this and that, the third in the Middle East? They started it. The agreement was based on a uh, premise that the triple un- the triple intended, I believe that's how you say that word, would achieve success in defeating the Ottoman Empire during World War I and form part of a series of secret agreements contemplating its partition. Let me actually go into this. Who is the triple entente? Let's go into it. What if I use if I can actually get the word to be paid? Entente. 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 The triple entente. The triple entente. Uh, okay. Of course, it's from the French. The word entente is from the French, meaning. Matter of fact, let me actually go into the etymology. All this is through the spirit. However long the video may be, just sit tight. If you want to hear about this, or if or don't leave if you want to. I don't care. Um, yeah, entente. All right, entente and understanding, 1854 from French, entente, and understanding from Old French, entente, intent, intention, attention, aim, goal. So really been the triple goal, right? Let's just continue to read on. So from the Wikipedia, triple entente, right, describes the informal mutual arrangement and understanding between the Russian Empire, the French Third Republic, and the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. It was built upon the Franco-Russian alliance of 1894, the Entente Cordiale of 1904 between France and Britain, and the Anglo-Russian Entente of 1907. So it is a bunch of groups coming together, right? I believe the the Soviet Union, right at the time of this war going on, they was allies with uh uh Great Britain and then the French, I mean Slovakia, right? There was allies around this time when the whole war was going on and everything, right? Trip on time. They got a picture up here, so let me go through. So the trip on time will be. They got a picture up here, so I'm gonna just read it off for y'all, just because y'all don't know. The trip on time would consist of the nations United Kingdom, France, Russia, uh, really that's about it. Right? United Kingdom, France, Russia. They also got Morocco. You know, matter of fact, let me actually do this. Let me actually do this real quick. I'll do it like this. Allies of France in World War I, which has just been okay. So it just been Great Britain and Russia, which I'm already knowing there been multiple others. Of course they had America. You already know they fucking helping as well. And they had Japan as well. Can't forget about Japan. Don't fuckers they right. All right, so let's go back. Let's go back to the trip on time. All right, continuing on in the reading. It formed a powerful counterweight to the Triple Alliance of the German Empire, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and the Kingdom of Italy. The Triple Entente, unlike the Triple Alliance or the Franco-Russian alliance itself, was not an alliance of mutual defense. Okay. Uh, the Triple Entente really just, the goodness, what I just read. The alliances. The Triple Entente is the alliances of Russia, France, and Great Britain, right? And whatever other country they decided to add to it, whatever. All right. So back to the Wikipedia for Sykes-Picot Agreement. Jumping down to where I was, the agreement was based on the premise that the Triple Entente will achieve success in defeating the Ottoman Empire during World War One, and formed part of a series of secret agreements contemplating its partition. The primary negotiations leading to the agreement took place between the 23rd, November the 23rd, 1915, and January the 3rd, 1916, on which date the British and French diplomats Mark Sykes and Francois George Picot, the two men that, primarily, I'm trying to say the word, that, they were the relevant ones of this agreement, of this treaty, initialed an agreed monu- memorandum, initialed an agreed memorandum. The agreement was ratified by their representative governments on the 9th and the 16th May of 1916. The month of May and the days the agreement was ratified. What that word ratified means? That means to formally approve or to confirm something. Okay. So they confirmed this agreement on the 9th and the 16th day of the month of May during the year of 1916. Your agreement effectively divided the Ottoman provinces outside the Arabian Peninsula. That's basically the Levant, around the surrounding areas where Syria, Iraq. Matter of fact, hold on, so like, let me do this. Let me pull up the world map. So I'm going into all this. I also had a world map pulled up. Mm. I honestly forgot I can actually go into Apple Maps, the little app on my phone, use GPS or whatever. I'm gonna say they now about allow me to see it. Man, come on now. It's just taking long. Okay, that's Italy. That's Italy. And so like it's taking me a while, but this shit, man. All right. So the surrounding areas, matter of fact, why did I just do this? So like, man, actually making it harder for my damn self. Right, the Arabian Peninsula, which is literally that middle part where Saudi Arabia, yeah, Saudi Arabia, basically Saudi Arabia, including Iraq, basically the Levant, basically, but it's more of that lower half for what it shows. And that will Google giving me, right. So you might as well just say the Middle East, right? Anyways, your agreement effectively divided the Ottoman provinces outside the Arabian Peninsula into areas of British and French control and influence. The British and French controlled countries were divided by the Sykes-Picot line. That's talking about Syria and Iraq. Matter of fact, let me actually go. Let me go into the chart of which they had to show who had what. All right, all right. Let's see. This the one. This the one I saw, so I'm gonna use this one. All right. I'm gonna actually. I'm about to download it so I can. Yeah, so I can save it so you can pull it up better. Pull it up on the camera for you. All right, here you go. All right. So the bluish part is French, right? The bluish part on the top, the northern part, except for this little part here, that would be the international zone. Which guess what? Guess who in that spot now, right? We're going in this. While we're speaking on this, on the plot, right? So this you know, parts of Syria and the part above Syria that would be French control, right? The lighter blue, which part of Syria, which really y'all can really see it, you know, y'all can see it for what it says for right here. But this would be French influence, and this would be the part where France, I believe at the time, where they directly controlled that. And down here would be Britain, right? The darker red would be Britain direct control, and the lightish red will be British influence. So you see, they just in place puppets, and basically yes men and known spots so that they can control that province. It's basically their colony, right? They're basically controlling that, right? They basically control a colony. Uh, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. Salaki. And so like I'm, slightly fresh on knowing this. That's why I'm kind of just going over it and doing the video so it could be sharp, on the mind. All right, so don't really need that no more. Let's see. Uh, yeah, let me continue reading. I'm gonna just read this part. Well, actually, I'm gonna just keep reading. The agreement allocated to the UK control of what is today southern Israel and Palestine, Jordan and southern Iraq. And allocated basically mean they push it to the side, so to speak. Um, in an additional small area that included the parts of Haifa and Arc to allow access to the Mediterranean. And of course the Mediterranean is a basically a gold trade spot. They don't really trade gold as the only thing to trade, but trading goods, it's a good place to have in your control if you want make good. It's good for trading. I'm gonna just say that it's good for trading, right? Fucking Jake, damn Jake ass man. France was to control. France was to control southeastern Turkey, the the Kurdistan region, Syria, and Lebanon. You see? Oh, okay. I see what it's trying to say. So like, I'm having a brain fart trying to watch two things at the same fucking time. Let me jump back up to where I started back at. The agreement allocated to the UK control of what is today southern Israel, Palestine, Jordan, and the southern Iraq. In an additional small area that included the parts of Haifa and Arc, Arc to allow access to the Mediterranean. So that's what the UK, control. I'm wondering if they can still, of course, they still control that shit still to this day. And France was to control southeastern Turkey, right? Southeastern Turkey, going back to the picture I showed, southeastern Turkey, the Kurdistan, the Kurdistan region, Syria, and Lebanon. Let me see what the Kurdistan region is. That would be fucking G. Um, like in the region, it's right underneath Turkey. So I would say like Azerbaijan, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Probably so, maybe. I'm not 100% bright on the map. Still trying my best. Continuing on. As a result of the included Sazon Sazonov Paleolo, oh goodness, these damn words. The SP, I'm gonna just call it the SP agreement, which is not talking about the Sky's Pico agreement. It's a different agreement. Let me actually try to pronounce it so you won't be confused. Um, the Sazonov, the Sazonov Paleolog, Paleolog, log, Paleolog agreement. I think that's what you said. Sazonov, the Sazonov Paleolog agreement, I guess. Um, Russia was to get Western Armenia in addition to Constantinople in the Turkish Straits. So this, hold on, as a result of the included, right. Since of course, Russia, there was an ally, and they made a promise to Russia that the fact that they're going to get this part of the land, this, and that, the third, or whatever. Right? Again, like I said, they've been making promises. Um, they've been making promises to, you know, different type of people who was involved in the war, which is their allies. They trying to say that, we promise you this, we promise you that. But one thing about it, they were doing this to divide the Ottomans, but yet they made an agreement with the Ottomans, the fact that they want to get this part of the land, right? And guess what? Guess what land that is? It's talking about the land of Israel, man. It's all the land of Israel. That's what they've been fighting. That what that agreement basically was on. You see? And I'm gonna just read this part. I'm gonna just bring a scripture out. I ain't brought a scripture out this whole damn video, but rather just get the information out, then bring the scripture. I already got set for it. But as a result, just continue reading. As a result of the included Sazonov Paleolog agreement, Russia was to get Western Armenia in addition to Constantinople and the Turkish Straits already promised under the 1915 Constantinople Agreement. So all these agreements they made, they these devils never thought of, damn, this shit gonna come back and bite us in the ass, which is still doing, still constantly biting them in the ass. All this is gonna lead up to World War III. They don't even know that. Well, they probably do, but they just don't give a damn. Cause why? Cause they just worry about getting rich. They worry about having control over things. Doesn't matter what the fuck the people want to do. We still got control, right? You know. But Italy assisted to the agreement in 1917. Assisted. What did I say that word means? So right, to agree. So Italy agreed to the agreement in 1917 via the agreement of Saint Jean de, all these damn fucking agreements, man. You see how many agreements it was? You see how many agreements this devil done made with various different people for the same plot of land? Well, not even for the same plot of land, but because it's Syria, Iraq, they were trying to dividing. But really, what's one what's one what's one land that was set aside for international use, right? Italy agreed to the agreement in 1917 via the Agreement of Saint Jean de Maurienne and received southern Anatolia, the Palestinian region, with a smaller area than the latter mandatory Palestine was to fall under, and quote unquote, this is what I'm saying, was to fall. This is the state of Palestine, which is Israel. This is the state of Israel, right? The land. I'm talking about the land, not the fucking people. Fuck them niggas. Actually talking about the land, right? This is the land that they allotted for this specific reason. The Palestinian region, with a smaller area than the latter mandatory Palestine, was to fall under an international administration. And they got that in quotes, quote unquote, international administration. You see? And who all that came who did who Salaki, where that administration came from. Salaki, I'm trying to talk fast. But where that administration came from, man, came from the well, you gotta know where it came from, man. You know, if these devils trying to call themselves, the people, but they really not. They just came from other lands, which listen, we already know that these people are really Amalek, right? They're really Amalek. So the fact that they came from these X amount of lands to try to call themselves Ashkenazis or whatever the case may be, these really just Edomites. They all Edomites. You may just have like a handful, just about almost a handful of them niggas over there that could be one of us. That could be one of us. But majority of them, they're all straight devils, man. They're all straight devils. I'm going to bring out the scriptures now. I ain't wanted to bring this up. Oh, excuse me. I ain't want to be this long-winded. Me doing all this talking, trying to bring out all this information. Really just want to continue to try to bring scriptures out while I was reading, but however the spirit had me to do it. Right. Of course, I didn't want to just be all over the place with the information and stuff like that, which I still kind of was, but it is what it is. This is from the book of Psalms, chapter 55 and verse 51. And it reads, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart, just like Trump. Just like Trump. He said that, oh, we got to stop the gang. We just got to stop this drug trafficking operation they got going on in Venezuela and Maduro. You know, he's the top of that. No, no, no. Videos already been coming out, and Maduro himself. I just saw the video of it. Maduro himself even said that Trump was after the oil. He said that Trump told him that. I believe, I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, because I just seen the video earlier, not so long ago. Matter of fact, let me actually go to it. I'm actually go to it. Call lawyer. All right. So I can find. There we go. Who we? Who we? Okay. I'm gonna play the sound of it and let you know that this is Maduro speaking, but I'm gonna try to, keep up with it as I try to translate it or whatever. Not really translate. I don't know the language like that. They just got the words up here. So fair use as I play this. Ramon, we only spoken. Man, matter of fact, honestly, to be real with you, Israel, I'm not about to do that. But I'm gonna just play. I'm gonna go to the part where he said it. I'm not even finna, you know, I ain't finna do y'all like that with me playing the sound. I ain't finna do myself like that. He was saying that in Venezuela you have a brotherly nation. He this Maduro was speaking. He's saying that you have a brotherly nation, right? We really consider your brothers. We're not, however, Trump, because I'm just further exaggerating it, right? But anyways, so like, make sure I ain't miss nothing. Leave the other one in the car. I get it. Oh my goodness. Right now he's saying if they want to seriously discuss a drug trafficking agreement, we are ready. He's saying they really want to talk about, drug trafficking and this and that, the third. We're ready. We'll talk, right? His words. This is his words that he says, in their language. They want Venezuelan oil. We're open for investments. They want Venezuelan oil. We're open for investments. American investment, like with Chevron, on their terms. He was willing to negotiate. But guess what? Guess what Trump did anyway? Strike his ass. He didn't want to talk. Listen. I'm going back to the scripture, man. I'm going back to the scriptures. And I'm actually in there on this since, fucking got to deal with this shit here. Psalms 55 and 21. The words of his mouth, in this case, Esau, Trump, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil. The same oil he trying to go after, man. Same, well, not really the same oil, actual oil is literally just thick as hell. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. This man, in his heart, he really want to go to war. But of course, he's going to deceive the people by speaking in a soft, low tone, or not even soft, low tone, however way they trying to sound peaceful or whatever the case may be. This man really got war in his heart. He really want to take over nations. Verse 22, cast thy burden upon the Lord Yahweh, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. Right? Anytime we praying that the Lord may cover us from the wicked schemes that this man planning. Verse 23, but thou, O Yahweh, shall bring them down into the pit of destruction, the lake of fire. Bloody and deceitful men should not live out half their days, but I would trust in thee. The Lord going to make sure he put a stop in these devil's plans. And in the last days, all we got to worry about and being in good grace and good hopes of Yahweh Shem Shah, hoping that we be saved and be covered, right? Well, first be covered, then be saved from all of this hell that's going to come upon this planet. Brothers and sisters, we finna see some shit here in America, man. Especially here in America. let alone the whole world. Let's all be ready for this time, man. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and end on that, and Lord's will, the spirit upon me later to do, further this, then so be it. Lord willing, y'all will certify. Until the next time, it's Shalom, and above all, until the next Shalom.